Hey, it's Chad, the fitness scientist. I am on the road. I'm in Seoul, South Korea. I'm not at the acceleration station where I normally post my videos from. I'm actually doing this video because I hear a lot from clients and from students that it's difficult for them to continue their training program because they travel either for the holidays or just because their lifestyle is such that travel is a part of it, which is true for me. And one of the reasons why I select the equipment that I do in the studio, number one, it has to be able to create the results that I am looking for. But number two, it also has to be accessible. And accessible means wherever I go, it goes. So, for example, I brought with me my waffs and an X3 bar. And so everything that I do at home in my normal routine, I can travel with very, very easily. And I'll show you what I brought with me. So I brought two waff minis, these two guys right here. First of all, wafts are incredible, and I use them all the time. I'm on them every single day, multiple times a day, depending on what I'm working on, whether it's my workout routine or whether I'm just warming up. For example, in the morning when I read sitting on a waff. I meditate on wafts. Let's say for example, because I travel, the first night actually here in Seoul, between my 24-hour travel day, literal 24-hour travel day, and the bed, my back was pretty unhappy and askew. So when I got up first thing in the morning, I blew up my wafts, got on top, just stood on them while I did my kind of morning coffee and warm up. And I would say within 30 minutes, my back felt much, much more normal than the sort of tweaked, upset back that I started with. X3 bar, which is the other piece of equipment that I travel with, variable resistance with an Olympic bar. And this allows me to do all my strength training wherever I am. There is a gym here in the facility. However, I went down and looked at their equipment, but I actually much prefer an X3 bar set. So here I am in my room. I don't even have to go downstairs. It's also cold out. We are at the very end of November here in Seoul. It's 30 something degrees outside right now, Fahrenheit. A little cold for me to be training in. So I'm in my comfortable hotel room and I'm going to take you through my whole body warm up. Integrated hinges, squats, and a vertical lift. Integrated hinges and the squat are going to be on the wafts. Vertical lift is going to be on the X3 bar. Here's what it looks like. Okay, so integrated hinges is a movement from the hips. I'm standing on the wafts because the wafts allow this to be a much more dynamic process. Without getting into all of the philosophy of waff training, it's important on a waff. Wafts are about feedback. They are feedback tools. But for example, when I do this integrated hinge, my tempo will vary because I'm not just going rep, 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 but I'm going to be moving with the waff because it's going to give me feedback as I hinge, as an example. It's letting me know where my center of gravity is traveling, what adjustments I need to make in order to stay balanced throughout the motion. I'm going to do 8 to 10 of the 3 motions. First one being the integrated hinge. I'm using my arms here as a counter lever to my hips. My knees do soften, but I'm not doing a squat yet. I'm just keeping my knees unlocked so that I get maximal loading of my glutes. And you'll see that my weight rocks. That's deliberate. I'm using my body weight to allow certain muscle chains to be more stimulated than others. I'm going to call this one, my last one, I think I'm around 10. And I'm going to transition into a squat now. So I'm going to begin with a hinge, and then I'm going to bend my knees and travel into the squat motion. And I'm going to pull myself back up. So I'm going to do the exact same thing here, about 8 to 10. Allow my glutes a little bit more length as I squat. I always hinge before I begin a squat, meaning I would never do this. I'm not looking to either compress my knee joints or make my quads the primary muscle group of my squat. I want my glutes to be the primary muscle group. They also happen to have more fast twitch muscle fiber than a lot of other muscles do. And the proprioceptive challenge of the wafts allows the fast twitch muscle fiber in my glute to get stimulated. Recruited, maybe is a better word than stimulated. And again, because I'm interested in results, I'm trying to maximize the tools that I have access to get the best results possible. Okay, so now I've done my proprioceptive warm-up. I've done my glutes and my posterior chain warm-up. And now I'm going to move into a vertical lift using the X3 bar. Because X3 bar uses variable resistance, which are what the bands are there for, I'm going to need to establish a strong foundation before I move, because the resistance itself is going to vary throughout the motion. So I'm hinging back. That's what my warm-up was for. I'm drawing my shoulder blades together. I pull my abdomen toward my lumbar spine to brace my spine, and then I bring my hips forward and my body vertical. I'm going to repeat that. Now with variable resistance, if I was doing this, if this was going to be my workout set, I would do this until I absolutely could not move anymore. I've chosen a resistance level that allows me to treat this particular set like a warm-up, like a whole body warm-up. My upper back is very engaged right now so that I don't lose my posture as I move through the range of motion. I'm looking to the camera, but in a vertical lift, you would not look to your right or to your left. You keep your head in the middle. You'll notice that when I hinge the bottom, my bar arrives at the same place every time. I basically touch my patella tendon. If I go any lower from my body, I lose all the tension. For me, that means basically the very bottom of my kneecap or the patella tendon that I'm hinging. All right, so that becomes my whole body warm-up. Integrated hinges, squats, and a vertical lift using my travel set. X3 bar and waff minis in the elite skin. That's the clear skin on a waff. The clear skin gives me the most feedback. So when I'm traveling, I travel with those mostly. Just because depending on what I'm working on, the elites are going to give me a lot more feedback than the classics. I actually have a medium classic with me, which I'll be doing some other workouts on later. Anyway, there is a great demonstration of being able to travel and take your workout with you so that your workout's not interrupted. And anyway, tune back in for some more.